An MPV doesn't have to be dull to look at, and that was Renault's brief from the start with this new Scenic. How can we make a large, practical family car cool? And I think they've done a pretty good job. It's certainly got more of an SUV feel to it, and Renault's new face fits a larger frame surprisingly well, as do these body contours and these wagon wheel style 20-inch alloys, but we'll come back to these in a bit. But at the end of the day, people buy an MPV because they want it to be practical, so the Scenic will have to be as flexible practicality wise as the likes of the Ford C-Max, the Citroen C4 Picasso and the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer. So let's take a closer look. The first thing that struck me when sitting in the new Civic is just how much light comes into the cabin, and this is thanks to copious amounts of glass dotted around, which just helps visibility. But regardless of the amount of light that comes in, the cabin design on the dashboard is still quite dark, but you get some pretty good materials and there's some little smart details like the fact that this dashboard design runs across to the door. And storage wise, you get plenty of deep compartments dotted around, and the main feature, which blew my mind the first time I saw it, is the fact that this center console slides back and forth, which, all right, it's probably a bit unnecessary, but it's still pretty cool. And you get two cup holders here when you slide it back as well. Now, if you want gadgets like sat-nav and parking sensors, then you'll have to go for the Dynamique nav trim and above. And this gets you a 7-inch landscape touchscreen. But if you want to make the most of this interior and you want to go for this smart portrait 8.7-inch touchscreen with the R-Link 2 system, which gets the likes of 3D graphics and loads of customizable themes, then you'll have to go for this Dynamique S nav trim and above. And this trim also gets the likes of a head-up display, it also gets a cool panoramic glass roof, and you get a reversing camera. Sitting back here, you do very much get the impression that it's designed for kids, with the limited leg room and these fold-down tray tables. You also got a bit of space down here for small cups or bottles. Now, headroom is decent for most people, but this panoramic roof does eat into space a bit, especially for adults. Now, that sliding console that I mentioned before comes into play in the back as well. I mean, if I slide this forward to where it usually is, the center console, it does take up a bit of space, but at least you've got the option to slide it forward and free up some space. Or if you want to separate two kids that don't get on, you can just leave it there. The Scenic's boot is one of the best in the business, with 572 litres of storage space. You've also got this handy adjustable boot floor, and these seats fold completely flat and can be folded automatically with the push of a button. Now, if you watch closely, the headrests also fold down automatically as well, which is really cool. All Scenic models come with 20-inch wheels as standard, and they do aid the overall style of the car, but they don't really do the Civic any favours in terms of comfort, as you do feel quite a lot of lumps and bumps in the road. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Civic is by no means uncomfortable. It's actually, for the most part, quite settled, especially on the motorway. Given it's not very adventurous, I mean, it is easy to manoeuvre and the steering's sharp enough, and in that sense, it is more like a traditional MPV. It doesn't try to serve up anything special dynamism-wise, unlike the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer and Ford C-Max, but most families will be happy with that. There are multiple engines to choose from, including entry-level 1.2 litre petrol and multiple 1.5 litre diesels. Now, we've got the lower-powered 108 brake horsepower diesel, which has got plenty of power just for pottering about town. You can actually go for a 128 brake horsepower model or a 158 brake horsepower model of this same diesel, but given the amount of power you're actually going to need and efficiency-wise, the 108 brake horsepower model just makes the most sense. I mean, when we've been going around town, without even trying, we've been getting about 50 miles per gallon, and on the motorway, we've been going closer to 60 miles per gallon, plus CO2 is quoted at just 100 grams per kilometre. I like the safety features of the Scenic too. I mean, a lot of them are optional, but it's good to know they're there. With the likes of the £500 parking pack that we've got that offers hands-free parking, and you can have the optional £500 safety pack too, which adds adaptive cruise control and a handy little feature down here that tells you how far in front the car ahead is. The Scenic has always been up there in terms of practicality, and its newfound style could have massively jeopardised that, but thankfully it didn't. Renault's done a great job of merging MPV and SUV DNA together. But if you want this blend of style and function, then it is going to cost you more than a Ford C-Max and a Citroen C4 Picasso, as prices start from £21,445. That is less than more premium rivals like the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer though. But could you see yourself behind the wheel of a Scenic? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.